Hey guys, welcome back to another Smash Ultimate tier list video, and today we are going to be ranking every single character in Smash Bros. In terms of how cheesy they are or how honest they are. Now, I originally was going to make this into like a top 5, top 10 video about like the top 10 cheesiest characters, but I actually think it might be better for me to do this for every character because I think there's been a lot of discourse over whether or not certain characters are considered honest, dishonest, they rely on BS to win games, or if they have mechanics in them that make them pretty obnoxious to deal with in the sense of, oh, you have to be careful about this because if you don't, then you might get cheesed and you lose a stock early, or you lose a game, or even a set. So yeah, I thought about doing this in a tier list format. I hope you're okay with that. And also, mostly because by the time you see this, I'll likely be on my way to Japan. I decided to take a trip, and I have to get this out pretty quickly. With that said, we have our tiers for today. We have stops completely at a stop sign. They're law-abiding citizens. They are very straight and narrow. What you see is what you get. Really can't expect anything too crazy, and if they do have anything that could remotely resemble cheese, it is more of a personal thing and not so much like the entire community sees it that way. Then you have might lie every now and then. These characters are, for the most part, pretty honest. They might have like 1 or 2 things in them that, if used in a certain circumstance, could be disproportionately rewarding, but for the most part, you can expect them to play pretty straightforwardly. Then you have jaywalkers who kind of, in the middle where it's like, it could be definitely something that they play around, their cheese mechanic, but overall, still pretty tolerable. Then you have definitely stole candy from the 7-Eleven. These characters have a general game plan of playing straightforward, but they do also have situations where they can consistently and effectively rely on a cheese strategy. So I guess one of the best examples would be, you know what, I'll save that for later. Then last but not least, we have the most heinous crime committers out there, the people who lie about their GSP online. These characters are nothing but cheese. Those are going to be the 5 tiers for today. You're welcome to agree or disagree with my choices in the comments down below. And yes, because it's a video on cheese characters, it will be biased. It will be my opinion. There might be people who think, oh, this character is very honest, and other people think, no, this character is actually very cheesy. But it is a tier list video, so take it with a grain of salt. Just grab a snack and enjoy, and yeah, let's start talking trash about your mains. Before we get started on roasting your main though, I want to give a shout out to this video's sponsor, G2A. G2A is a platform that allows you to purchase video games and other game and software related things at discounted prices. If you're really big on collecting Steam games, for example, you can get Steam keys at a far cheaper rate than simply buying it through the main platform. Right now they're selling games for Helldivers, Tekken 8, Warhammer, etc. And you can also get discounts for pre-orders as well, like Destiny. They have a bunch of other things you can get for cheap, like gift cards, software license keys, and so on. So pretty much anything digital or software related you can find here. Right now they're hosting a spring sale campaign with even bigger discounts on digital products, DLCs, gift cards and such, and the sale will last until April 14. So if you're in the mood to buy some new games, then this is a place to do it. Use my link in the description below and be sure to use the code G2ASPRING upon checkout for more discounts. Thanks again to G2A for sponsoring the video, but for now let's get back to some cheesy characters. First character, we have Banjo. I'm gonna put Banjo in lies about their GSP online. I think that this character, despite the recent success of Toriguri, is a very cheesy character, which is interesting because he kind of has no choice but to play cheese. Banjo can play pretty honestly, but he definitely relies on you not knowing the matchup or not knowing the gimmicks and quirks in his abilities. And so yeah, there's going to be one of the first additions to the bottom tier. Then we have Bayonetta. Bayonetta is going to be, I'm gonna say, Jaywalker. So it really depends on the matchup. If you're playing Rob, for example, some people might consider her cheese, and others might be like, oh no, she's perfectly fine. But I think she does have a few things in her kit that can be pretty annoying for most characters to deal with, and she's overall a combo character that is not really considered on the same wavelength as, say, I don't know, Sheik or Mario in that sense. But don't worry, we'll talk about everyone in a bit. Bowser, I'm gonna say he is definitely a 7-Eleven candy stealer. This guy has a few ways for him to just simply throw out Hail Marys. Actually, no, that's a little too harsh. Bowser's a pretty honest heavyweight. I would say out of all the heavyweights, he's not one of the most cheese-oriented characters, but being a heavyweight, heavyweights have a higher propensity to cheese. And sometimes you see Bowser who tries to do like Bowser sides, or they might try to do like a random up smash to get you sleeping. They might try to shield break you with down B from landing. He has a few ways he can kind of cheat, but overall I think he's one of the more inoffensive heavyweights out there. Bowser Jr. on the other hand, I'm gonna put you down here. Bowser Jr. is an interesting character in that he has a lot of straightforward tools, and then he has a lot of gimmicky tools, but he tends to kind of fall back on those gimmicks to make stuff happen, and I think he can put you in a lot of situations which are definitely uncomfortable. And I think the usage of Mecha Koopa, or even things like the I think it's called the Bandit Ship, is up B. So yeah, he's I find him to be rather dishonest. He's honest to a fault in the sense that he's kind of mid with his attacks. Actually, no, I find Bowser Jr. to be pretty underrated, but he is one of the more cheesy characters out there. I hate Koopa Cart. Violet. Violet is going to be a jaywalker. Violet is, out of all the fundies-oriented characters, out of all the swordy characters, they're definitely one of the more cheesy ones out there, right? They have a couple of shield breaker setups, or actually quite a few shield breaker setups with down air and down smash, and then they have the random forward smash at ledge to kill you at 30, and then they have Sword of the Creator when they go off stage and then use it to spike you. They kind of bang on at least scoring maybe 1 or 2 of those types of stocks over a set, and then even so, like, they still play relatively straightforward. They're swordy, but I think most Violet players would acknowledge that every once in a while they do incorporate that into their game plan. That's kind of the win condition. Captain Falcon, we're gonna put him in Might Lie every now and then. So he has very explosive combos that can most certainly kill you very quickly, but that's nothing that can really take people by surprise. It's kind of expected, right? Like, let's say Nair 1 into knee, or just like, you know, Raptor boost into IDJ up air, falling up air into knee. Those are like more kill setup confirms, not really cheese, and I don't think Falcon's really ever going to. He can take stocks quite early, we all know that, but I find him one of the more enjoyable matchups, and I don't think anyone really complains about fighting Falcon because he's a pretty upstanding guy. Chrom, barring the the Chrom aside, which you don't really see Chrom players do too much unless they're in a position where they're already kind of destroying you. I find Chrom to be a very honest character. He's a Roy who still has the BS factor in that he kills at like 40, but not quite too much. I think that he's a very reasonable character, and I actually feel bad for him because if he had a decent recovery, he'd be like top 5. Cloud. I'm also gonna put Cloud at stops completely at a stop sign. So Cloud, people consider him cheese in the sense that he has overbearing, I guess, pressure on stage, especially in like the corner or like, you know, juggle scenarios, but I find that no one is particularly surprised by Cloud. The only element of surprise that you could come across is once again if you accidentally get spiked from the downward slash of Climb Hazard, or if you get finishing touched. But finishing touch is not something that people are immediately thinking about because it doesn't happen that often. Anytime a Cloud player lands limit down B on you, that's only because it was either a hard read or it was a situation where he could have gone for a smash attack anyway, in which case he probably would have died. So like Cloud has no easy setups into finishing touch besides like, let's say, falling up air, but for him to get falling up air on you, you have to literally be standing there for quite a period of time, or you have to be in like a platform tech chase scenario. So it's just, he's a very straightforward character. Like, he's hard to fight for a lot of matchups and might feel oppressive, but he's just a character that you can't really get too much crazy factor out of. He beats you just by beating you the straightforward way. As for Corrin, Corrin's occasional liar, not really a habitual liar, but in my video on Corrin, I talked about how they're definitely the more tactical of the two high-tier sword fighters, or low top tier, I guess. Where Cloud, he's more conventional, traditional tools, and Corrin is definitely a little bit more tactical. You know, they have neutral B, they have side B, they have down air, they have a few things that can like mix things up a bit. And while it's not really going to result in any crazy early kills that can like take people by surprise or 0 to deaths, it is still, I find, you know, it could be a DI check, or it could be a, you know, a couple things that they do off stage, and I think could take a few people by surprise, I would say. Peach and Daisy, they are going to be jaywalkers, or if not, maybe, you know, no, okay, here's the difficult part. So, being a Cloud main, I don't consider them too overbearing, but a lot of people might consider, let's say, the fact that they can get full power aerials off a float, despite it being a short hop or even shorter, or the fact that they can pull out a Mr. Saturn, or they can pull out a bomb, that alone can make them very, very cheesy to deal with. And I guess to some extent, if you look at it that way, it does come off a little bit unfair, right? But at the same time, Peach and Daisy do have to play pretty fundamentals oriented as far as like, you know, what they have to do and how they do it. But yeah, I think the floating mechanic is kind of lopsidedly disproportionate in favor of them, which no one else has access to. So maybe I'll kind of put them around here, but let's just say conservatively speaking, we'll put them here for now. Okay, Pit and Dark Pit. This is a hot take. People consider these two like some of the most honest characters in the game. I heavily disagree. First of all, Guardian Orbiters. they have an aerial shield. And before you say, oh, you can like up air them from below, very few up airs, unless you have one that shoots literally right above you, like a Link up air or like a Game & Watch up air. These guys have an aerial shield. How is that honest? Like, they basically don't have a disadvantage in the sense that like as soon as they throw that out, you can't really continue. And then if you break, or if you just so much as hit the shield, that's actually positive on block for them, in which case they can turn around and reverse. Plus, I guess not so much Pit, but Dark Pit, like Electroshock Arm, can kill you at like 60 if you DI'd incorrectly. It's pretty weird, but yeah, overall I just find that it's kind of disingenuous for people to say that they're very honest when they have Guardian Orbiters. That alone changes up how you have to fight them in disadvantage. It's not a cure-all, I guess, and there's still ways you can punish it, like you can grab them when they fall down. But if you don't have like a command grab that you can use in the air, it's really hard to, you just have to kind of let them land or let them turn off the shield. It's difficult to manage. At the same time though, it's like, you know, actually I'll put Pit maybe. Pit's a little bit more honest, but yeah, I just think that people calling them very honest characters, they're honest in the sense that yeah, maybe they don't like one-shot you, but Guardian Orbiters, guys, come on. Why are we not acknowledging how just ridiculously broken an aerial shield is? Diddy Kong, I'm gonna put you in, you stole candy from the 7-Eleven. Okay, first of all, Banana. He's transcendent, right? You have sword aerials, like, you know, Lucina and Cloud. We can cut through plasma, we can cut through explosions, we can cut through the very essence of death itself. I'm pretty sure you can clank with whack if you attack it. But yes, somehow you can't cut through a banana, the one thing that you're actually expected to cut through. And then of course you have Monkey Flip, Diddy Kong being able to, despite holding an item, have an easy way to punish you for holding shield. I think that even though Diddy Kong's a very difficult character to play at a top level, and even though I think that people, he's kind of overrated. I think last time they rated him number 10 or number 9, I don't think he's that high, but I do think that Banana is the scum of the earth. So Diddy definitely stole candy from the 7-Eleven. DK, yes, you are definitely one of the cheesier characters out there. It is a respectable cheese, I guess. It's respectable cheese. You can, it's fun to watch DK players just like one-shot people and blow them up. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it is pretty dishonest. Like if you have a character with a bad recovery, you get grabbed by DK, you pretty much die, or the Ding Dong setup, which is ordinarily perfectly balanced in the sense that like you have to think about position, but he has cargo throw. He can force you into a position to then kill you with Ding Dong. If he had to just up throw you from where he was standing, then that'd be perfectly fine. But yeah, being a heavyweight character, you do have to rely a little bit more on cheese. Dr. Mario is gonna be a hot take. I actually think he's quite honest. He's a very hard hitter. He does a lot of damage, he can kill you quite early, but I don't think that the way he does it is particularly dishonest. He kind of just has to play normally, and then he has like a few confirms and kill setups. It's similar to Falcon, I guess, just a lot worse in the sense that Dr. Mario's a worse character. But that's how I see it. He has explosive attacks, but realistically, like unless you consider jab into up B, which is true if I remember correctly, unless you consider something like that to be cheese, then maybe you might put him further down, but I actually think that he's one of the more straightforward characters to fight. I keep saying straightforward, and I'm going to keep echoing that word over and over, but that is kind of the way I see it. Duck Hunt. You, my friend, are going all the way down here. The reason why you're not here is because Duck Hunt's a very honest character in kill power. He can't really kill you, or they can't really kill you, because they have to kind of whittle away at you slowly but surely, and then eventually go for one of their kill setups, like either just blowing you up with cans specifically, or going for like an up air, which actually has decent kill power. I think out of all the zoners, Duck Hunt has probably the lowest threat in terms of their individual attacks. It's not like a Samus charge shot that will kill you from across the stage at 120. So I think, yeah, I think they're cheesy, pretty frustrating to fight, but I don't think they can, you know, they don't have Banjo Wonderwing side B that kills you at 60 and just explodes you or stuff like that. Falco. Falco is... Whoa. Hello? Okay. Falco is gonna be... I'll say here. Yes, back air kind of one-shots you if you are on like Town and City and you're close to the blast zone and it kills you at like 70, but... I think that... Or maybe you can say Phantasm is a, you know, a cheese, but if you get hit by Phantasm off stage, you're kind of trolling because you might as well just like two-frame it or just try to hit it from the side, not from below. So Falco is not really all that dishonest. In fact, I don't think any of the Spaceys are, because they have appropriate weaknesses to offset their, or they have appropriate vulnerabilities to cheese themselves that offset their own. That being said, I think Falco has a few ways in which he can kind of mess you up, especially if you're a projectile reliant character. He's a frame 1 reflector. Fox. I think with Fox, people will disagree with me, especially top players, in that yes, Fox can kind of just get away with mashing on your shield indiscriminately and rack up like 1,000,000,000% in 2 seconds, but Fox himself, he's a very fundies oriented character, right? He can't really, if he kills you with like a nair up smash or like a down air up smash, like that's his main bread and butter way to kill you, and every character is entitled to one. He doesn't have a way to just like end your stock at 40 or 0 to death you. It's more just, executing his game plan, which is heavily skewed in favor of blinding speed at the expense of vulnerability. So I actually do consider Fox, despite being a very powerful character, to be a pretty honest one. Ganondorf, on the other hand, you are definitely down here. Ganondorf's entire principle is cheese. He hits you extremely hard and then hopes that you just die from whether it's like his random YOLO forward smashes he throws at the ledge, or actually no, now that I think about it, he's more like Bowser in the sense that he's strong, but he can't really rely on fast ways to break you in half. The occasional forward smash YOLO is also something that Bowser players do as well, so maybe I might be a little too harsh on him. He's kind of over here. Greninja is a very, I might say here, Greninja is a straightforward character. He's very widely considered a Fundy's character, but he does have a few things that can kind of mess you up. He has like Hydro Pump to stop people with a bad recovery, or he has, let's say, Substitute, which counters are generally considered cheesy for a lot of people, but Greninja Substitute in particular can kill you at the top blast zone. It can spike you really weirdly off stage, and he has down air and stuff like that. So sometimes he kind of hopes that he can get one of those kills on you. Overall, he's relatively honest, which is why it's up here. And plus, he's a ninja. He kind of relies on, let's say, subterfuge or any kind of deception to win. And I think fighting a Greninja does require a bit more tact and awareness than if you were to fight a Cloud. Hero, let's put you down here. There we go, moving on, right? I think we can all agree. Same with Ice Climbers. These two, yes. Okay, good. Ike is gonna be up, but no, here. I'm inclined to put Ike down here because I think Aether in certain cases, like the Aether side, or not Aether side, but like using Aether as like if you go off stage and use it, you can actually kill, kind of like how Pyro does Prominence Revolt and kills you that way, but Aether is a pretty honest move. It's not very BS. It's just very strong, but it is slow, so you can play around it. Like if I put Cloud and Chrom here, I have to put Ike. It's only fair. Instin's gonna be here. He has, revenge, and he can take you from 20 to 80 in one single hit and kill you very quickly. And he has like the cross chop setups that he uses to kill people with the center stage platform like Hollow Bastion. But I think because of how slow he is, and I guess how limited his options are, I think the insane amount of kill power he has is quite fair. It's kind of similar to DK where he's a heavyweight, he has to rely on cheese. But I don't think he's all the way down here, because if you lose to an instant, either you got read one too many times, or you just don't respect what he can do if you give him the opportunity. So I don't think he's at the bottom. Inkling has Roller. I'm just gonna put that there. Roller kind of puts a wrench into their ledger, a little bit of red in that, but I think overall Inkling kind of has to play correctly in order for them to beat you. I think similar to Greninja, they have a way they can end your stock pretty early, being a hit and runner. But generally speaking, you don't have to worry too much about what they can do to ruin your set. So yeah. Isabelle, you're going to be down here. I think Isabelle and Villager as well, I'm going to just put them here early. They naturally do have to rely on janky checkmate setups to kind of ruin you. And Isabelle is more oriented in using her fishing rod, whereas Villager is more oriented in using just a Lloyd Rocket to make neutral easier for them, and also bowling ball off stage. Joker is he's an occasional liar. When he's at base form, he's extremely honest. When he has Arsene, he can be pretty stupid because down air up smash kills are like 40. Beyond that, there's also Gun, which some people complain is very dishonest, and then other people, kind of doesn't matter. But I think Joker is gonna be here in that you can expect him to follow the rules and play by the book, but you do have to watch out for a few things that he can fish for at when he has Arsene. Especially because down throw into instant raw or back air, if he has Rage, he can probably kill you at like 60. Jigglypuff, I'll put you down here. Reason being is because Jigglypuff, 90% of her game plan is either get a rest or edge guard you until the Kingdom Come. But the way that she edge guards you is just kind of drag you across the stage, to which most characters have nothing they can do. So her weakest point is naturally neutral, and if a character's weakest point is neutral, and their strongest point is when they're in a position that they pretty much checkmate you, that is, in my opinion, very cheesy. So no disrespect to Jigglypuff players, I do think that Jigglypuff is a very fair character in terms of balance, but as far as do I think she's dishonest? Yes, she kind of is. Next character, Kazuya, you go down here, no question. And then now for these guys, so all of the FGC characters, because they have auto turnaround, and because they kind of get away with just mashing on your shield forever, and also have each of them have ways in which they can kill you at like 50. I'm putting Ken here, I'm putting Ryu, where are you at? I'm putting Ryu here, and I'm putting Terry here as well. Because FGC characters are... Kazuya is the biggest defender of them, of course, but even the other FGC characters, they are very, very close to being touch of death ones. Because they kind of are, you know, in melee range. DDD, you are the cheesiest of all the heavyweights, I think. Question mark. I might be forgetting someone, but DDD, spam Gordo for days and hope you fall into his traps. That's all he can do. He can't really win honestly because he's one of the worst characters in the game. So he has to rely on Chase to beat you. K-Rool is gonna be here. Belly Armor is very dishonest. That's all I'm gonna say. He needs it. Yes, I understand he needs it. But Belly Armor is a very dishonest mechanic that kind of lets him win certain interactions that if he had any other character, you would not be able to. And I think that in and of itself is pretty dishonest. I don't think he's like down here per se, because K-Rool does kind of have to play conventionally to beat you. No, but he does have stuff like Blunderbuss, Kron Super Armor is really annoying if you're not a fast character. And he does have a few ways he could explode you, but that's within the realms of a heavyweight. Either way, I think that K-Rool is going to be here next to like DK and Instant. If you blow up, it's only because you don't know the matchup. And especially with DDD, if you don't know the matchup, then you 100% deserve to lose. Kirby is, he's okay. I think he has the inhale kill setup with the footstool and everything, which is very annoying. And a few ways he can kind of screw over people just by crouching, but overall I think he's middle of the road. I do think the inhale trick is a little too good for the amount of commitment it takes, so I'll put it here. Link? Link's over here. It's just Nair. I think Nair is very dishonest. Come on. The hitboxes on that move. He's an honest character everywhere else, but that Nair cheats. That Nair freaking cheats, my dude. Little Mac, you are down here. KO punch, super armor on his moves, and then a few ways he can insta-kill you at like 40 with like either Jolt Haymaker far off stage, or even, you know, let's say down tilt into whatever his up he's called, corkscrew punch or something, I forget. But yeah, Little Mac is a pretty cheesy character. The fact that he kind of plays a different game than you, and then sort of relies on the fact that he does have a 1 KO move is quite cheesy. Lucario, same thing. He's over here. Can one-shot you in the blink of an eye if you're not careful, and also just has a very unorthodox playstyle that kind of screams fundies, yet at the same time loses all purpose of it because of the aura mechanic. Lucas is very hell-bent on edge guarding you. He does have decent on-stage presence with Zaire, and with his PK fire, but for the most part, against a lot of people, he kind of just relies on the fact that his edge guarding is brainlessly overpowered. Yes, I'm a Cloud main, I'm somewhat biased, but yes, Lucas is, between Ness and Lucas, I think Lucas is more reliant on Cheese than, are they siblings? No, they're not siblings, I think they're just friends. Lucina, you're up here. No one will disagree with that. Luigi, fuck you. I hate this guy. He's worse than Kazuya. I will die on this hill. I would rather fight a Kazuya than Luigi. 100%. You are the scum of the earth, my dude. Mario, you are over here. Mario has ladder combos and bridge combos, and he can gimp people with Flood. But he is decidedly the kind of generalist character. He's the benchmark for Smash, in the sense that he's, you know, like a decent character to pick up. He's got a little bit of everything, and that does include Cheese. So I think his up B setups and his forward air setups are definitely a little too easy to pull off, because it's mostly based on the player's positional execution, not really the opponent's TI. And yeah, you have seen him killed people with, you know, up air into up B countless times, and that will continue to be part of his repertoire. Marth is going to be down here. For all intents and purposes, Marth and Lucina are exactly the same in honesty. The only difference is that every once in a while, Marth kills you at 40. So you are going to be here. Thankfully, I say thankfully because if it were more consistent, it would be quite terrifying. But yeah, thankfully Marth's tippers are quite difficult to achieve consistently, and if they were, he'd be here, but he's gonna be over here. He's still a pretty upstanding gentleman. Mega Man's gonna be here. He's annoying to fight, he's a zoner, but he doesn't really have anything, I don't think, that can kind of take you by surprise. His down air has been widely considered one of the better down airs in the game for being like +2 on shield and having a ranged spike. But it's pretty hard to time for 2 frames, in my opinion. I feel like it's easy to work around. And then the up air has been regarded as cheese by many people, but I have never gotten killed by up air before. I think people just need to stop jumping out of hit stun immediately, or you're holding up or whatever. Just hold down and you're fine most of the time. The last thing is maybe Leaf Shield, which is why I kind of put him here and not here. Leaf Shield is kind of frustrating if you don't have a massive disjoint like Cloud or Ike, but I think Mega Man is one of the lesser frustrating zoners out there. Mega Man, you're down here. Not Mega Man, did I say Mega Man? Meta Knight. Meta Knight's down here. Meta Knight heavily relies, similarly to Jigglypuff, but not quite. He kind of relies on checkmate scenarios in kind of like edge guarding and gimping, and if you have very linear recovery paths, then he can cheese you really hard with like neutral B or side B and just use massive lingering hitboxes to gimp you. So yeah, Meta Knight is one of the more cheesy characters in my opinion. Mewtwo's gonna be kind of here. He has a few things that can screw you over, like Disable, but Disable I think is quite balanced in that, like if you just don't face him, you're never going to get hit by it. Confusion is pretty strong, but not overly oppressive. Shadow Ball is powerful, but it's a charge shot, right? Like there's not that much difference between Mewtwo and Samus in that regard. But yeah, I think Mewtwo is surprisingly honest. I don't think he has too many ways he can kind of just like what the hell you. Maybe he does. That's why I'm kind of putting him here. I can't really think of any reason to put him up or any reason not to put him up here, but I feel like there is one. I just can't remember off the top of my head. Mii Brawler. Depending on the moveset you carry, Mii Brawler could be here, or he might be next to Mario with the like up B setups, so I'll just put him here. Mii Gunner, you're down here. It's similar to Duck Hunt where depending on the setup you have, Mii Gunner isn't exactly all that threatening in terms of like projectile by projectile, but the way they play is inherently very gimmicky and cheesy, so I'll put them there. Mii Sword Fighter here as well. If you have whichever setup you have, if you have you know, light shurikens or if you have Gale Strike, but I do think Mii Sword Fighter relies on kind of taking people by surprise because he can't really win against other characters traditionally. Min Min, I will bleed you slow, you little shit. Moving on. Game & Watch, you're gonna be over here. Game & Watch is a very cheesy character. Actually, you know what? Screw it, I'm putting you here. Yeah, I want to put you here, but I feel like, nah, you have way too many things. You have Chef, you have down air, you have up air, you have up B, you have down smash, you have up smash, you have so many ways in which he can mess you up. Ness will be over here. Ness is cheesy. It's a pretty cheesy character. I don't think it's nearly as reliant on cheese as Lucas, so people might put him here, but I think I'll put him here because most of what he does can be worked around, and he's not as checkmate as people think he is. Pac-Man, you go down here, my friend. Your Hydrant, your Bonus Fruit, and your infinite ways to recover are all very annoying, even if you're not really the most threatening character outside of Bell. But if Diddy Kong's Banana is here, then Bell is definitely here. Palutena is going to be here. She would be up here if not for the invincibility in her attacks, and also just... No, even with invincibility, no, because it's pick your poison. Would you rather deal with like a massive ranged back air like Cloud back air, or would you rather deal with a mid-ranged yet invincible move like Palutena? Palutena can kill quite early with like, let's say, up air close to the blast zone, but she can't reliably put you in that position because she doesn't have something like a Falco up tilt or even like a mid-throw up tilt. Her up tilt is a kill move, it's not a juggle tool. So even though she has fantastic juggling, she doesn't have many easy ways to put you in that position unless you get hit by a dash attack or if you get hit by an air string. So I think Palutena's, no, she's pretty honest, I think. Even the invincible moves like her dash attack or back air, unless you DI it incorrectly, you really aren't going to get killed by them all that early. Like back air at the ledge doesn't kill until like 130, or like dash attack on center stage, it shoots you directly upwards, but it doesn't kill until like 160. So I don't think she's the worst offender out there. Pichu is a pretty honest character. He kills you very fast, but he also dies very fast. It's like Fox, where if you get hit by Pichu's stuff, it's not really cheese, because it's just, how do I say, I don't want to, it's really hard to not like, or to be consistent with like what I consider cheese and what I don't, or like what's a fair kill setup that is allowed to be or allowed to be given, and what's a kill setup that isn't. But I think that Pichu overall, you don't really see him too much, but people think that Pichu's not that bad, maybe? Yeah, I don't know, I feel like, but you know, then again, I've never fought a good Pichu before, like Black Twins, so maybe people consider Pichu to be more cheesy, but no, I think if you lose to Pichu, you just got destroyed. That's just my opinion. Pikachu, I'll put you here as well. He is Also very, I don't know, Pikachu is more edge guard reliant than actually just killing you outright, and Thunder Jolt is kind of stupid. Plus quick attack spamming, yeah, the quick attack spamming is kind of annoying. Is this biased because Cloud loses to Pikachu? No, I think Pikachu should be over here. Like, Pikachu just pancakes by existing, and then has a few way too many overly fast, overly sometimes disjointed, and overly multi-hitting moves that can kind of let you win, but at the same time the reward is not as explosive as, like, let's say getting hit by a Violet forward smash. I think of them in the same vein as Ness. I think of Pikachu in the same vein as Ness, or like... Alright, we'll sleep on it, we'll move on for now. Olimar, you are cheese, my friend. I'm sorry, Piranha Plant, you are cheese, my friend. Pokemon Trainer. Pokemon Trainer is very based on edge guarding, and I think they have a few things in which they can... Full disclosure, I don't consider edge guarding cheese, it's just like, depending on how you go about it. But I think Pokemon Trainer has a few things that can be kind of cheesy, like Charizard back throw back here killing you at like 12 at the ledge, or Ivysaur with poorly DI'd Vine Whips and stuff like that. Squirtle with Water Gun to gimp people with bad recoveries, so maybe I'll put them here. They occasionally have to lie every now and then, but generally they do have to play pretty fundies oriented, I think. Aegis, you're over here. Mithra is dishonest in the sense that she's got the frame data of Sheik, or not exactly, but Mithra kind of just wins by existing. Few characters, if any, can actually beat her in neutral, and then Pyra relies on overly overtuned frame data that is quite generous in the sense of, like, you know, how she can kill you. I think they're not like the most dishonest sword fighters in the game. No, they're not that different from like Cloud. No, what am I saying? They are different from Cloud. You have two of them. Belmont's over here. There's only one right now, so I'll put them here. I think that it's similar to Duck Hunt, where they can only kill you with very specific setups or through ledge trapping, but their ledge trapping is nowhere near as disgusting as, I would say, like Samus, for example. Ridley, you are over here. Ridley is he even considered a heavyweight? Not really. I think Samus is heavier. So I think Ridley does rely on cheese, but his cheese is mostly like bigger hitboxes. I don't think people are ever going to get hit by a skewer or like a Space Pirate Rush, maybe, and then like giving you with Plasma Breath. But yeah, I think, you know what? We'll put him here for now. Rob, you're going to be here. Rob is generally a very strong character, and he does have a pretty straightforward game plan, but because of how many ways he can set up a 0 to death on you, yeah, we're gonna put him here. Plus down tilt. Screw down tilt, please. Robin's over here. One of the more respectable swordy zoners in the game. Kind of like Link, where like, yes, you might get blown up by a couple setups, but generally you can't really... Actually, no, I'll put them here. I don't think Robin's all that surprise factory, I guess. Matchup Shack to an extent, because not many people played them, but I find Robin to be pretty fair. Levin Sword is powerful but limited. Rosaluma, you are down here, just because of the fact that the way you play is pretty cheesy. Yes, there's an execution factor, and you know, if you were ever to talk to the one Rosalina player at top level to bust, what you can get out of Rosa is pretty fair, it's pretty justified and reasonable, but I think just the mechanics that Luma offers to Rosa is in and of itself pretty cheesy. Roy's gonna be over here. I mentioned with Chrom is more honest in that yes, he's strong, but he's pretty straightforward. Roy has a few moves that are way too strong for their own good and kill you at like 20. No, but in all honesty, like Roy is like, he's a dangerous character to fight, but one that most people are prepared for. I just think that, for example, having a -3 down tilt that can also set up and detect chases and stuff, kind of like Rob, is pretty stupid, along with having just the same kind of mash ability on shield like a Terry. Actually, should I put him here? Because stuff like Jer being such a consequential kill combo that like kills you at 60 at the edge of the stage, despite how easy it is to pull off and how safe it is, instead of like, let's say, fishing for, you know, a finishing touch, or maybe a I don't know, like a knee. I might put Roy here, but if I put Roy, I can't put Roy and Chrom too far apart from each other because they're much more similar than Lucina and Marth, so I think I'll just put him here. Samus, you're down here. Samus's ledge trapping is the best in the game. Bomb does way too much. And then they have a lot of just you lose no matter what you do situations. So, or it's just she. Dark Samus isn't it. We're gonna just talk about Samus here. Yeah, Samus is... Oh, you are... I hate that you're top tier. Is Samus top tier? I think they're considered top tier. Or I think she's considered top tier. Well, I don't remember what her placement was from the last tier list. Maybe she was like 14. But that is top tier. And I'm really sad that you are, because you are frustrating. Sephiroth, you're gonna be over here. Okay. Sephiroth kind of like Marth, where Sephiroth could just have situations where you just get insta-killed, but they're so hard to get that it doesn't really, you can't consider it cheese. Sephiroth just kind of distance demons you, and if you get up close and personal, he crumbles to pieces. I think because of that, he's pretty honest. The super armor and his smash attacks are somewhat surprising, but because of how slow they are, it's not like Little Mac where it's like, you know, he's got single-digit frame data smash attacks that have super armor. Sephiroth is heavily committal in terms of what he does in that sense. Sheik is pretty chill. Maybe not here. Probably here. Should I put her here? Because she doesn't have any... She just wins through speed, but she doesn't have damage. And I think if you lose to a Sheik, yes, she has like... Obviously, if you're going like Sheik versus DK, there's nothing the DK can do just because Sheik has better stats. But I feel like a good read or just punishing a Sheik for overcommitting to something could be pretty consequential in like beating her, or could be pretty effective. So I don't know. I don't think Sheik is that... She doesn't have many... Maybe down air? I'll put her here for now. Shulk, you're down here. Monado Arts, thank you. Snake, you're down here as well. Grenades, fuck you. Sonic, you're down here. Everyone should just die. Sora, you're down here because even though you're one of the more honest characters in terms of like the way you play, floating nature and also having hitboxes that linger more than the animation does, which is annoying. Steve, you're down here. Toon Link, you're down... You're over here. Wario's waft. There we go. I do think it's around KO punch levels of threatening, especially because you can't get rid of it, so you just have to hope he misses it. Wii Fit Trainer, John, I'm sorry, you are single-handedly putting this character down here. Wolf, honest. No. No. No, Wolf players, they have to just better player you every time. Yoshi, you are stupid. I'm gonna maybe put you here even because of the way your air physics and movement work. If you're wondering why I'm rushing through everything, it's just because I was prepared for this section of the character list. Like Snake, Sonic, Sora, Steve, I think all of us can agree these are the most cheesy and annoying characters in the game. So yeah, we'll put you there. Yoshi, you're just weird. You're so weird. Young Link, you're putting next to Toon Link, even though yes, you're better than Toon Link, you're also weirder in some ways. Zelda is very reliant on making use of Phantom and chasing you in situations, so she can never beat you straightforwardly. ZSS, you are going to be... No, you're gonna be here. She's more cheesy than Sheik. You know, with like down smash, or you know, down B, or like just having a Zair and stuff like that to kind of, or like a frame 1 jab to kind of just mess you up. But ultimately, she does still have to better player you, I think, because she's a hit and runner. It's like Inkling and Greninja, kind of like if you saw my hit and run video. They all have to play really well if they want to beat you. And I think even if they do have specific kill setups that one-shot you, it's not too unreasonable. It's also easy for the opponent to play around. You can't really play around Rob's gyro setups because sometimes you just get cooked by them. But yeah, okay, so that is my list of the cheesiest and most honest characters. Maybe you can debate a couple things here. Again, I don't play every single character, or I don't have matchup experience with every single one. I do have matchup experience against quite a few of them, but in terms of like, let's say Pichu or Pikachu, it really comes down to the character you play. So personal bias does come into the equation, but overall, I think this list is pretty lenient. I might put Jigglypuff over here. That's about it. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts on my placements in the comments down below. If you think certain characters should be moved up a little bit more honestly, or certain characters are not honest. Like, I already know people are going to complain about Fox and Cloud being honest. I think overall, this isn't too controversial. It's not too hot of a take, but who knows, I may be wrong. Anyways, I'm losing my voice, so if you guys enjoyed the video, it would be great if you can leave a like and subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Vars, join my Discord server, and check out my other Smash discussion videos if you haven't yet. Oh my goodness, my throat. Alright, but till next time, thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again soon in the next one. Take care.